It was July, the kind of July where the pavement melts and your only survival instinct is to find water. I had saved up for months for this trip. 3 days at a beach town 4 hours from home. No laptop, no Slack notifications. No emails that start with "per my last message." Just me, a towel, and the kind of silence that makes you realize how loud your work life actually is. I checked into a small hotel, dropped my bag, and walked straight to the beach. No plan, no destination. Just following the sound of, waves like some kind of cartoon. Character following. The smell of a pie on a windowsill. The beach was crowded but not packed. Families with kids building sandcastles that would definitely be destroyed by high tide. Couples playing paddleball like they were in a sunscreen commercial. And me walking along the waterline, letting the cold waves hit my ankles, feeling like I had finally escaped. That's when I saw her. At first I didn't even register who it was. You know that feeling when your brain sees something familiar but takes an extra second to process it? Like when you run into your neighbor at the grocery store but they're wearing a hat, and for half a second you're like, I don't know this person. It was like that. Except instead of a neighbor with a hat, it was my boss. In a bikini, lying on a towel, reading a book, like she was just a normal human being and not the person who decides whether I get to afford groceries next month. My feet stopped moving before my brain caught up. I just stood there mid-step, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the sand, staring. She had sunglasses on, so I couldn't see her eyes. But I felt her notice me. There was that tiny pause, that micro-movement where someone shifts from relaxed to aware. She lowered her book just enough to look over the top, and then she said it. Eyes up here. I froze. Not the dramatic movie freeze where the hero calmly assesses the situation. I mean the freeze of a deer that just heard a twig snap and is trying to remember if it has legs. My brain was spinning, but no thoughts were landing. It was like a computer with 50 tabs open and none of them responding. So I did what any rational, confident adult would do. I opened my mouth and said, "Yes, ma'am." "Yes, ma'am." Like I was in boot camp. Like she had just told me to drop and give her 20. I called my boss ma'am while she was lying on a beach towel and sunglasses. On my vacation. The vacation I paid for with money from the job she could fire me from. And I said it like I was saluting. She stared at me for a second. Then she laughed. Not a polite laugh. A real laugh. The kind where you can tell someone is genuinely amused by how ridiculous you are. And honestly, fair. So here's the thing. That moment on the beach, it wasn't just awkward. It was actually a perfect example of, something psychologists call role confusion, and I'm not making that up to sound smart. There's real research on this. See, your brain builds mental boxes for every relationship you have. There's the boss box, the friend box, the parent box, the stranger on the subway who won't stop making eye contact box. Each box comes with a set of rules. How to talk, how to stand, how much eye contact is normal, what jokes are allowed. When you see your boss at work, your brain knows exactly what to do. Stand up straight. Use full sentences. Don't say yeah when you mean yes. Keep your phone in your pocket. Laugh at their jokes even if they're not funny. These rules are automatic. You don't even think about them. They're just there, running in the background like the software on your phone that you never open but somehow still needs updates. But when you see your boss on a beach, in a bikini, holding a book with a title that suggests they have a personality outside of quarterly reports, your brain panics. Because now 2 boxes are colliding. The boss box says be professional. The beach box says relax and be normal. And those 2 sets of instructions don't mix. It's like trying to run a video game on a computer that's also trying to download a system update. Everything just freezes. And that freeze? That's exactly what happened to me. My brain was so busy trying to figure out which box to use that it forgot how to do basic human things, like speak or blink, or remember that staring at your boss's body is generally not a great career move. There's actually a study from the University of Chicago that looked at this. They found that when people encounter someone in a context that doesn't match their mental category for that person, their reaction time slows down by almost half a second. Half a second doesn't sound like much, but in a conversation, half a second is forever. It's the difference between saying, "Hey, good to see you," and saying, "Yes, ma'am," like you're answering a drill sergeant. So no, I wasn't just being weird. I was being human. A very embarrassed human. but still human. Now here's where the story gets interesting. After she laughed, she took off her sunglasses and looked at me. Actually looked at me, not the quick glance she gives me in meetings when she's waiting for me to finish talking so she can move on. A real look, like she was seeing me for the first time. She said, "You know you're on vacation, right? You can relax. I'm not going to fire you for looking at me." And I said, "And I'm not proud of this, I wasn't looking." She raised one eyebrow. "That universal sign for really? You're going to lie to my face right now?" I sighed. "Okay, I was looking. But only because I didn't recognize you at first. I swear." She smiled. Not a boss smile. A real one. And she said, "It's fine. Honestly, it's kinda nice to know you see me as a person and not just a signature on your time off requests." And that's when it hit me. The reason this whole thing was so awkward wasn't just about me being embarrassed. It was about both of us realizing that we'd been pretending. For months, years maybe, pretending that we're just our work selves. That we don't have bodies or beach vacations or books we read for fun. That we don't exist. Outside of that one building with the, bad coffee and the broken printer on the third floor. But we do. Every single person you work with has a whole life you know nothing about. They have inside jokes with their friends. They have songs that make them cry in the car. They have pajamas with weird patterns on them. And none of that shows up in a performance review. Here's something wild. A study from Harvard Business Review found that 78% of people say they hide parts of their personality at work. Almost 8 out of 10 of us are walking around offices pretending to be slightly fake versions of ourselves. We laugh at jokes that aren't funny. We pretend to care about projects we don't believe in. We say sounds great when we mean that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And we do it because we think that's what being professional means. But here's the truth no one tells you. That pretending, it's exhausting. And it creates this invisible wall between you and the people you spend 40 hours a week with. You're not actually connecting. You're just performing. And everyone else is performing too. So you're all just actors in the same bad play, pretending not to notice each other's scripts. That beach moment broke the script. For both of us. She wasn't my boss on that towel. She was just a woman who likes the sun and reads thrillers and apparently finds my awkwardness hilarious. And I wasn't her employee. I was just a guy who forgot how to act normal because his brain short-circuited. We ended up talking for almost an hour. Not about work. About books. About travel. About how she almost quit her job 5 years ago to start a bakery but didn't because she was scared. About how I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up and I'm in my 30s. Normal stuff. Human stuff. And you know what happened the next Monday at the office? Nothing. We didn't become best friends. She didn't start inviting me to happy hour. But something did change. The wall got a little smaller. We started saying hi in the hallway. Like real people instead of nodding. Like two robots acknowledging each other's existence. She asked about my weekend and actually listened to the answer. I stopped saying sounds great when I meant that's dumb and started just saying I have some concerns about that idea instead. And guess what? She didn't fire me. She actually said, "Thanks for being honest." So here's what I learned from that whole humiliating beach experience. The eyes up here moment wasn't just an embarrassing story to tell at parties. It was a reminder that we're all just people. Bosses are people. Employees are people. The CEO is a person who probably has a weird sleeping position and a favorite ice cream flavor just like everyone else. The professional mask we all wear, it's useful sometimes. You need it for meetings and emails and performance reviews. But if you wear it all the time, you forget what your actual face looks like. And you forget that the people around you have faces too. So next time you run into a coworker somewhere unexpected, the grocery store, the gym, a beach 4 hours from home, just remember, they're not just their job title, and neither are you. Say hi, be normal. Don't say yes, ma'am, unless you're actually in trouble. And for the love of everything good in this world, look them in the eye. Not because it's professional, because that's just how humans talk to each other. That awkward beach moment turned into one of the best conversations I've had in years. All because two people stopped playing their roles for 1 hour and just existed together. No scripts, no masks. Just a boss and an employee who both forgot for a little while that they were supposed to be anything other than two humans on the same patch of sand. If this story made you feel better about that time you called your teacher Mom in front of the whole class, or waved at someone who was waving at the person behind you, or did anything else that still haunts you at 3 a.m., hit that like button, seriously. Make me feel less alone in my embarrassment. And if you want to hear more, stories about humans being awkward in professional settings, click that video on your screen right now. I promise it's even more painful than this one.